Hello YouTube, World's Worst Poro here, beginning episode 1 of Crash Landing Hard Route Walkthrough. And to begin things off, I'm just kind of going to go through some of the special things about this mod pack that make it unique. First off, it's an ex nihilo mod pack. Essentially what this means is that the majority of your resources are going to be coming from sieving dust, and so that's one of the main things you're going to be automating. Second thing that makes it unique is all vanilla tools, pickaxes, shovels, axes, and possibly, no, I'm not entirely certain about hoes because I've never really made one on this, but they all have 1 durability, so they're essentially rendered useless and a waste of material. Third thing is special mobs. There are a lot of different mob types enabled. For example, there are like skeletons who will knock your weapon out of your hand. There's zombies that will give you status effects, multiple types of creepers that explode in different ways. So you kind of have to watch out for those. And then finally, it's hunger overhaul is one of the things that you also have to look out for. It causes there to be basically diminishing returns on food that you've eaten multiple times in basically a span of a day or two, and to the point where you actually get no hunger back from those. So you have to eat a variety of different things or you will actually still starve to death. Also, one major aspect that I haven't covered yet is you actually have to deal with hydration. So you are granted a camel pack in one of your early quests, and you need to kind of keep that full, or you can actually have a really good chance of dying to dehydration. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the quests that I'm going to be doing on day 1. Day 1 is kind of a crunch for time, so I don't have a great amount of basically space in this video to go over exactly what I'm doing while I'm actually playing it for the first day. So what I'm going to be doing is completing the first 4 quests basically right off the bat. First one is gathering supplies. You just need to grab both of your fluid transposers from the ship. Then you have to pick your route, either the hard or the easy route. The easy route gives you basically food, a lot more bone meal, and also the ability to respawn, but hard route gives you pretty much just some bone meal. Then the third quest complete is the very basics. You just have to have some dust, water, and a bone meal, and you turn that in and you can get a piece of dirt. And then finally, drinking mud you just need 1 piece of dirty water, which you use your dirt to get, and it gives you back your piece of dirt. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started creating a new world. World's Worst Poro, hard route. So as you begin, you're going to run forward, and you're going to want to grab your, well, not run. Walk forward, grab your crescent hammer by right-clicking, and then shift right-click your fluid transposers to get those. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of dust. That's already basically 3 quests. Pick your route, gathering supplies, very basics. So those are all done. Next you need to fill up your camel pack. Once again, you want to avoid dehydration as much as possible. Make sure to equip it. And then finally fill up a glass bottle with dirt to get dirty water to turn in drinking mud. You now have your piece of dirt back. So you're going to want to plant a birch sapling on it. And now, on day 1, I'm going to essentially be preparing for day 2 cobble generation. So I'm going to be basically digging a channel from here over to the Pyrotheum. I'm also going to be preparing a mob trap, so if how I'm digging doesn't make very much specific sense at this point, you will kind of just be filled in on it later. This channel is just for the Pyrotheum, and that one's obvious, but over here, I'm going to want to dig down a trench that is 4 deep from the shuttle, and then 2 deep right here. Then you can actually come down here and get the dust. Let's go back up. Keep digging along towards the Pyrotheum. And basically you're just going to stop the channel when you hit this part over here where it gets to be 4 high again. Now you just need to build a little bridge down to it, and a path for the pyrotheum. Careful when you're going towards that because it lights blocks next to it on fire. Then just let it go and begin gathering wood. Okay, so that was a very unlucky kind of draw with the wood. Oh, and while you're out here, make sure to block off the water flow. So you're going to come back inside. You need to craft 2 crooks. You can do 1 or 2. Generally I suggest 2 because you're generally going to want to grab 2 trees worth of leaves with your crook, and if you only have 1 crook, I'm pretty sure that you end up just breaking your first crook after about halfway through the second tree. You want to make sure to use your crook on all the leaves because it gives you a better drop chance for saplings as well as for silkworms, and you need to use silkworms in order to get string. And string's important because basically string can be turned into wool, and wool's how you're going to get your bed, so you don't have to stay up through the night. And nights are pretty scary on this mod pack due to the special mobs. Generally you're going to get 2 trees. If you don't, you can try to run back inside and sieve some of the dust first to get another piece of bone meal. If you don't. But you can make do with just 1 tree, you just can't do the mob trap. You would have to just do the Tinker's Construct portion. Which Tinker's Construct is what you have to use for tools because basically, like I said in the introduction, all vanilla Minecraft tools only have 1 durability. Yep, see there's my crook breaking. And the sun's going down. So I'm just barely gonna have time to gather this. The sun's pretty much down, so make sure to replant your tree. Make sure that's blocked off. And then need a little bit more dust sieved out of here. Okay, come over here. Gonna make it 3 tall. Pillar of dust, basically. Then you're going to need some of this dark glass. Basically just all of the dark glass that's up here. And you're going to need to make, if you're doing the mob trap, if you only gathered 1 tree, just skip this part and go for Tinker's Construct. But you need all 13 of this dark glass. So what you're going to do is basically try to replace the dust with the dark glass so that you can see out. And you need 1 piece of dark glass there. If there are no mobs anywhere near you, can be a little bit less cautious and kind of come out a little bit. Okay, need 2 more pieces to finish it up. Actually 3. So you need 3 pieces from back here and all 13 from up here. Okay. Now for the trapdoors, make sure to right click there, there. Dang it. Oh well. And then on this block right here. Now you kind of have a little bit of a mob trap, so you can attract zombies towards you, and they'll see the trap door as being a full block, and so they'll just fall into it. So now you're going to need oak sieve. I'm going to place that right there. But let's work on Tinker's Construct now. So I'm going to need a crafting table and 5 patterns. Okay, the 3 things you're going to craft are tool station, stencil table, and part builder. You can put all of your extra books on the shelf now. You don't really need them on you. And make sure to grab your needle gun as well. Go ahead and load that up just in case some zombies or something somehow manage to get in here. Let me show you what I meant by baiting them though. Actually only attracting a giant one. Giant ones won't fall in because basically they're just too tall. Anyway, go ahead and place my stencil table down there, tool station in the corner, part builder right here. 2 patterns I'm going to make are pickaxe and tool binding. Don't currently have any bone meal, so I'm not going to be able to make those quite yet. Then you're also going to want one of the seats from over here. I haven't been able to confirm this 100%, but it seems that when you're sitting, hunger seems to still go down, but it goes down a bit slower. And basically you can just kind of sieve for resources, and also you can kind of, if you still have a piece of dark glass, you can kind of break it out occasionally. Try to get the zombies to notice you. Basically, you have to make you basically have to have a line of sight with them that's not blocked by the dark glass in order to aggro them, but they will aggro at pretty long ranges. So that's the only one that's coming. It's kind of strange, but then you can kind of just sieve. Once you have 3 bone meal, you can go ahead and make your pickaxe. So I'm going to want bone meal to be on my hotbar. So this one's going to fall in now. Maybe. Okay. And they're trapped down there now. So when daylight comes, they're just kind of going to burn up and eat their drops. Nighttime's generally pretty boring in the first couple days of this game, but if you try to do a day 1 mob trap, it tends to be a little bit more exciting. I've had some days where I've actually died. The reason why I'm leaving this trapdoor up is because it's kind of an attempt that I was making to see if I can stop small spiders. Because there are basically 1 block tall spiders that enjoy kind of just messing everything up. But once you have 3 bone meal, you can make a bone binding, bone pickaxe head. And you just need some sticks. Make a pickaxe. You can kind of go back and sieving. You can kind of go back and forth between trying to aggro monsters and just straight up sieving. For example, if you see them off in the distance, you can kind of look at them and see if you can get them to come over. That one's won't fit, which is partly by design. They have a tendency to just kind of mess things up when they do end up going in there. kind of just want to keep an eye on your mini-map, see if there's skeletons. Spiders you don't really want to aggro, because they'll just stay in the morning. You can aggro zombies, or you can even aggro skeletons, that's good, but you have to watch out that you don't get shot. You just have to make sure that you have basically 8 pulverized iron dust by the next day with your sieving. Pretty much nothing else matters a great deal. You do want quite a bit of bone meal too, but there's no really specific amount that you want. Let's see if I can aggro. So there's 2 skeletons over there and 2 over there. So on the first day when you're out looking, you want to basically be looking for bones and looking for raw flesh. And so it looks like there's 4 skeletons all in somewhat close proximity, so that's nice. Can hopefully get a few bones from them then once the sun's fully risen. Keep sieving until it's all done burning today. You can store all of your extra stuff in here. You want to make sure to grab. You want your bone meal still. You want to grab your beef jerky though. Go ahead and place down a fluid transposer now. There's another one in here. Okay, I think we're about ready to go out. And if you have a pickaxe, you kind of want to use that instead of bare fists. Other than that, use whatever tools you have. Crescent hammer actually does have +1 attack damage. There's kind of out this way. There's 1 bone. 2 bones. Remember, avoid sprinting if you can help it. And then I think there were 2 more skeletons across this way, so I'm going to see if they dropped anything. Actually got all 4 bones. You may or may not get all 4 bones on your first day. Actually got 6, that's even better. They seem to have fairly high drop chances. You just have to pay really close attention to where they were on the mini-map when the sun came up. Okay, come over here. Gather up all the rotten flesh. And now that it's daytime, can have our makeshift bridge actually be working again. I'll put my dust in there for now. Okay. So now, day 2, cobble generation. You need to unblock the water right over here. It will flow back down here. Oh, I have to make sure to block that off. So just kind of 2 more pieces of dust. And then a piece or 2 of dust to block off the pyrotheum again. You can actually gather the end one multiple times. And you may or may not have gotten. You need basically 8 cobblestone. So if you didn't get quite enough, unblock the pyrotheum again. I'm gonna go ahead and eat another piece of beef jerky. Maybe. I was being extra careful. You don't want to end up eating sea where it's basically wasting a bunch of hunger. Kind of want to avoid that, especially in the early game. because you don't have a lot of food at this point. Okay, there's our cobblestone. We'll leave that pyrotheum blocked off. And go ahead and block the water back off. So now what you can make with that, you want to make a slab furnace. That's one of the later quests. Then we're going to take our iron ore and smelt that so that we can make shears. Okay, so coming back out here. I just kind of like having a little jumping point right there. Basically just going to gather some more trees. If you already have a silkworm, you want to go ahead and use shears, which I do. So I'm going to go back inside and grab the shears, grab the iron to make shears once they're done. And that should be about done right now. But if you don't have a silkworm, you want to keep using your crook until you get one. Because silkworm is pretty nice for, basically you need it for one of the quests in order to get a rice seed, because the quest requires you to cook a silkworm. And yeah, this day, basically after this point, you're just going to be gathering trees, and then gathering dust where you can. If you have more than 4 bones, you can actually you can convert some of them into bone meal, but I would keep at least 5 bones because you need to turn 4 of them into a bone crook, and you need to use at least 1 for dang, that's super unlucky. But you need to turn 1 of your bones into stock and 4 of your bones into a bone crook. That'll probably be about all of the trees that I'll get to harvest today, unless I get super lucky on these last 2 pieces of bone meal. Okay, so now that you have a bunch of leaves, basically 1 leadstone flux capacitor can fluid transpose up to 50 leaves, and basically what that translates to is 5 bottles of water that you'll be putting in your camel pack, and actually a 1 bottle of water that you won't be putting in your camel pack. I'm going to go ahead and take all the inputs out now. Place the quest delivery system. After you've smelted, after you've transposed 10, you can actually complete a quest called Sapping the Sapplings. So basically you just have to select the task, right click on the quest delivery system, and then set an output towards it, and it will drain all the water, and you'll be done with that. Be careful though, because it will take any water that you have in your fluid transposer. That's why you want to kind of be exact with how much you give it, and then turn off the output after you're done. Okay, so now that we have a bit more wood, I'm going to go ahead and make a chest over here. And I'm also going to make a barrel. Basically what you're going to be doing, what you can do with barrels is you can stick leaves or saplings into them, and it takes 8, and they will slowly compost into dirt, which you can use to plant another tree, and we're going to need that for planting our silkworm here. Then I think with the rest of the morning, kind of just want to gather some more dust. Gonna need a lot of bone meal for the third day. So basically what we're preparing to do is preparing to complete the quest Tools of the Trade, which requires, in essence, 8 cobblestone, quite a bit of, well, not too much bone meal, but 4 bones, and then finally 24 wood, and 24 wood's kind of the thing that's keeping us up right now. Because the last part of the Tools of the Trade quest for this part is creating an entire set of wood armor. And at about 62, I can gather an even stack, and then head back inside where my dirt should be finished composting. I'm gonna go ahead and start another piece composting, but I'm also going to come out here and plant another tree. Okay. Kind of want to avoid doing all of the indoor things you can be doing at nighttime while it's still daytime. For example, there's a couple cooking quests that I could be working on right now, but I'm going to hold off until it's nighttime. About close enough. I'm going to go ahead and head back inside. I have about a stack and a half of extra dust. Make sure to close off your trapdoors. Extra cobblestone and slabs can go in there, as can some of that stuff. Trapdoor 2 even. And finally, I'm going to complete one part of the quest, create a bone crook. Still have some sticks on here. Need 2 of them to make stone hammer. We'll detect that. Okay. Can go back in there, and now it's basically just going to be sieving. Ran out of energy in the leadstone flux capacitor, so you're going to have to swap that out. And you do get some extra saplings when you're transposing leaves. You can also transpose saplings and you're guaranteed to get a stick, so that's kind of a useful thing to remember. I'm gonna go ahead and use that to fill up some bottles of water. And now it's going to be a lot more dust sieving. Mainly looking for bone meal here. I'm able to get 4 pieces here fairly soon. I'm going to go ahead and complete the next part of the quest. Actually, I want 6. So let me put the bone meal on my hotbar. Or just toss it out in front of me, that'll work. Trying to hurry up and get 6 bone meal because I want to complete that portion of the quest really quick. So I'm going to make the episode go a little bit longer than 30 minutes, which is what I generally am going to go for these episodes, but they're most likely going to run just a tad bit longer on most likely a lot of occasions. Three bone meal, still 3 to go. 4 bone meal, 2 more to go. I can go ahead and complete basically steps 1 and 2 of the Tools of the Trade quest. Step 3 is going to be the one that requires a lot of wood, and I don't have that yet. Sup, zombie? He seems a bit confused. Come on, just one more. Okay, 6 pieces of bone meal. Next, what we're going to need is... need 2 more patterns. Actually, going to need more than that, aren't we? Going to need 4 more patterns. And a pattern chest, so that's actually 5 patterns is what you need. So chest. Pattern chest. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put my bone cook in here for now and drop off all my extra sieving stuff in here. Drop the pattern chest here. 4 patterns you're gonna need are shovel head, axe head, crossbar, and finally, knife blade. So start with shovel and axe because they're the first ones. Then crossbar and knife blade. And manual detect that. Whoops. And that will get you to armor, which is the 24 wood that we're going to be needing, basically. Also going to need another stick, because what you're going to want to go ahead and make with the wood, with the shovel and the axe head, you're going to want to make a mattock. Actually, I didn't need another stick, but that's okay. Make a mattock. That's also a fairly good weapon at this stage in the game. Oh, pickaxe button can go back in there. So you now have a very basic weapon and a pickaxe. And that's going to be a place to leave off. Just go ahead and... that tree's growing as well, so that's nice. But that's going to be a good place to leave off. I'm going to start up next episode with a little bit more dust sieving. But that'll do it for this one. So hope to see you all next episode. Have a great day, everyone. World's Worst Poro signing off.